Boaters? This is Pauly from All Docked Up podcast Thursday night. Never can I do a podcast without my main man, Captain Buzz.
Paulo, how you doing? What's going on?
I'll tell you what, my friend, I'm still riding the hypeness of the boat shows.
Yeah.
I'm still riding it. I can't, every single day something new comes up, a new boater, contacts All Docked Up. We got suggestions coming through for podcast, and the momentum is incredible. The pipeline is exploding. I'm so hyped.
It is very exciting, and I have been riding that wave as well. So I'm right there with you. It is an exciting time for All Docked Up, and we're growing quickly. I don't want to say too quickly, but we are expanding, and there's a lot of hype, a lot of excitement. It's great time to be part of the company.
I'm telling you,
absolutely.
It's definitely a great time. Just the ease that we're bringing to boaters, and literally the lights that turned on in people's eyes at the show. It was incredible. I love going to the boat shows, and right now Fort Lauderdale started today. So no, I'm sorry, started yesterday on Wednesday. So there's a lot of excitement going on in Fort Lauderdale right now. I can't wait to
even
get there.
Though we're not down there, I know they're still talking about All Docked Up.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Kat, I got text messages coming through. Pauly, where are you guys at? People are chatting about you guys. There's so many of the vendors that were at the Annapolis Powerboat Show and Sailboat Show that are there, and all the new technology. There's a lot of buzz in the air,
cool.
Like the new guys on the block, and I love it.
Really cool.
I'll tell you what, it's Miami's right around the corner, my friends. We're definitely going to that one. So let's talk food, because I like food. I got a full belly. You got a full belly. Let's talk some boater bites.
I mean, dude, you nailed it.
Boater bites.
Nailed it today. Now, and it's got to be my turn, and it's coming up. I will be, but go ahead.
Yeah. By the way, the listeners already know that Pauly brings it to the mat when it comes to the food, and you shit the bed from time to time, but they already know that, so it's all right. They still love you anyway, Captain Buzz.
Wow.
But I'll tell you what. Anybody gnocchis? I made nice homemade gnocchis. Rolling dough is a lot of fun. It takes a little bit of time, but a potato and gnocchi and a homemade nice rich spaghetti sauce. Oh, it was beautiful. Some nice garlic bread. I went Caesar salad tonight because I was feeling a little Caesar.
Don't forget those wonderful meatballs.
Meatballs are a staple. If I make red sauce of any kind, 9 out of 10, I make a batch of meatballs, because let's just add a little more garlic to the love. You know what I mean? So if we're a little sluggish, it's because we're both fat right now and we just stuffed our face.
It doesn't make us bad people.
Sometimes you got to have a good meal before you bring it to the mat with some cocktails and podcast Thursday night, baby. Get Buzzy. Let's talk Captain's Briefing. What do you got? Talk to me.
Yeah, so we're certainly getting into the colder weather. The water temperature is dropping rapidly, right? And there are occasions where I need to run the boat alone to bring it over to winter storage or bring it over for service, or if you're on the boat alone in particular, and when the water is super, super cold. Now, you should wear your life jacket as much as you can, but when you're by yourself and the water's this cold, put your life jacket on, because, again, you're by yourself. You slip going from the boat to the dock, or you're out on the boat and you fall into that cold weather without a life jacket, you don't have a lot of time. It is not good. So I'm not going to beat that up too much, but it's when the water's cold and you don't have a life jacket, it makes it twice as bad.
Well, you know what, Cap? I'm going to share a story because I fell victim to ignorance and not understanding that. When we had the boat at the Chamonix State Marina, okay, right in Croydon, boat was getting ready to come out. Highway Marine was going to be picking up the boat via trailer, and they were running it up north, getting it all winterized, covered, and done. Me and Johnny are on the boat. I slip off the back of the swim platform.
Oh, you went in?
Water temperature, and I went into water, and the story gets a lot worse. Number two, the heating system on board, my compressor had failed. It was a mechanical failure. The boat was only a couple years old. And I'll tell you what, no heat on board. Everything was off the boat. Why? Because when you put the boat to bed, everything's got to be off the boat. Everything's got to be emptied. And I had no other spare clothes. My buddy Johnny had to literally grab the vehicle. I went down into the cabin, froze my ass off. Everything's icy, docks are icy. Johnny went and grabbed me all fresh new clothes because I'll tell you what, I was going to get hypothermia. It was bad. I got out of the water, pins and needles. It was not fun, but I will tell you what, we kept the boat in way too late, and I didn't take that into consideration. So I'll tell you, I'm guilty of it, and I hope that story helps a lot of people to realize everybody makes mistakes. Let's try to save that.
Yeah, good call. Again, that water's cold, man. It's going to hurt. I fell through the ice as a child, and so I know how cold that is and what that feels like. And you never want to feel that. So your detailer's briefing.
Detailer's briefing tonight. I got a lot of customers that are like, Pauly, you know what? With the cost of shrink wrapping exponentially going up per roll, which is causing per foot prices to jump exponentially as well, because the cost of materials and getting them are so difficult. I got a lot of customers saying, Pauly, shrink wrap, or should I just, go ahead and buy a tarp and tarp the boat? And I will tell you what, after all these years, after 20 plus years of being on the water, do you know how many times I successfully seen, boaters try to use their tarps from Home Depot? And if they last throughout the course of the winter, or snow collects, damage is done to the boat. And I told the customers all the same thing. I said, the cost of shrink wrapping is expensive. And when done right, the snow completely slides off. No water physically builds up. Buzz, remember you had water build up on the front of the bow of the bayout. It's no good.
Yeah, the marina left one of the 2x4s with the cups on them off that year, and I had 300 gallons of water pulling on my front rails. Yeah, it's not good.
That was no good. So I tell the customers, oh, guys, listen, I don't like to pay for it either, but I'm sorry. At the end of the day, it's a small insurance price or insurance policy to get your boat shrink wrapped so it is protected the right way. And also make sure that when it is shrink wrapped, I'll tell you what, the way I was taught to shrink wrap a boat, there better be a minimum of 4 to 6 vents that are in the shrink wrap that are going to allow proper air to go in and out of that, anywhere, cockpit, anything open on the front of the forward decks of the bow. If you don't have enough air passing through, moisture build up, and that's when you have mold growth on your vinyl seats, in your cockpit, anything that's left up. It's a breeding ground for mold. So I tell customers, I'm like, guys, I know it stinks, it's tough, but get it shrink wrapped and make sure that you check it out when it's done. At the end of the day, it's your boat. Be responsible for your boat. Check it out after the shrink wrapping is done.
Didn't you one year? Matter of fact, I know the answer, so I'm just kind of prepping you. But didn't you?
Oh God!
Didn't you get?
How bad are you whacking me over the head right now?
Yeah, because I know.
Where are you going?
I know how bad it failed, so you can share this. But somebody got you old billboards, right? Peeled off a billboard.
Oh my God! You really had to go that deep. So, you know what? I'll tell you what. I have no shame in my game because when I was learning, I made mistakes. Hence the reason why we're on our podcast trying to share this with new boaters to let them know that, guys, you don't make this mistake. We were at, we all wintered together. We used to get me, Captain Buzz, and 3 other different boats. We got everybody together and we knocked out all 3 jobs. So I thought it was a brilliant idea at the time. My buddy was worked for a company of the old billboards that came off, real heavy, thick material. And I tried to make my own shrink wrapping job, PVC piping running through the top and the bottom of it, ratchet strapped it down. It looked like it would withstand a hurricane. And that thing didn't last halfway through the season. And the mess that it made.
Because I remember, I went over there to check my boat mid-season, and I looked at yours and I went, oh, he's not going to be happy. And the wind, it was a really windy day, and I tried, the whole billboard cover was halfway off your boat. The worst part about it, all the lines that you had trying to tie it down were slapping up against the hull and scratching the boat. I went, this is a disaster.
Oh, there was some extra buffing work that I had to do that season.
It was bad.
The start of that season. Oh my God, it was terrible. So guys, sometimes we all like to save money. We tried to be as clever as possible.
Paolo, you had the alligator arms that year.
I had the alligator arms. Buzzy, nobody's got a set of alligator arms like you there, pal. Get the hell out of here. You're full of it. I'll tell you what. So don't be doing that, guys. And if you do, hey, Let's talk about Tommy Two Toes, Buzzy, with the Fisher
Oh,
cover
wow.
that weighed 100+ pounds that we used
That
to
thing was
throw.
heavy.
If
It
the
would
new
hardly fit in the
Fisher,
back of
well,
his Yukon. It was so big.
yeah, I mean, you can go with a Fisher cover, and I'll tell you what, the new modern technology with the new fabrics is less than half the weight or half the weight, and that has changed. So go with a Fisher cover, make the investment, put it on. Not saying that they're a lot of fun either, because we have never had that much fun putting them on, Buzzy, right?
It was
Am
a
I?
horrible job, but he had a lot of piping. I think it was like 1.5 inch PVC piping with joints and.
Yeah, because he built that entire structure for the Fisher cover to sit
Correct. So
on.
even if you get one of those covers, you need, if you take your canvas down or your bimini, and you're still going to need some kind of structure to hold the thing up.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Get the boat shrink wrapped, make sure it's got enough vents, and then pretty much go from there.
One more thing about shrink wrapping, and then I always have a door installed, a zipper door.
Oh, yeah. I love tripping into those. That's great.
But you can cut it out and use it again and again. I've had mine for 8 years. Talk about alligator arms. I'm using that thing over.
Yeah, you really. I do. The guys at the marina used to friggin' joke about you and laugh like, dude, this guy saves his door every single year. And not for nothing. That's really a good deal, because you know what? That's a lot of wasted plastic.
$50, times 8 years. Come on.
You cheap son of a bitch. I'll tell you what. Yeah, times 8 years. We got 4 bills. How you doing? Maybe I'll go out to Taco Tuesday tonight with a little extra
fuel.
scratch.
Thank you very much, or at least some of it.
Yeah, my ass, it's a tank full of fuel. Not with the cost of fuel right now. But yeah, I'll tell you what. Yeah, that's we can go on and on. But guys, you know what? That's great. You get to do, not make the same mistakes that we did learning. We can share that with you and save you a lot of aggravation, a lot of time, and a lot of money.
All right, so we got 3 topics, and it's all about boating safety. You know how we are.
Yeah, we got to go with AB boy over here. Gotcha. We're all about safety. Absolutely.
So the first thing I want to talk about is riding on the boat in places where you're not supposed to ride on the boat when it's on plane. So
now, all right, hold on a minute. What are you talking about? Where are we going with this?
It is unlawful in some states, and I happen to have the Maryland unlawful operation of a vessel right here handy, and I'll read.
You're talking about sitting on the front of the forward deck on like a sport cruiser, Buzzy, even though it's got a full rail, stanching the rails all the way around. That's still not legal to ride on the front of that when you're underway.
That's exactly right. So here it is: riding on the bow, gunnels, transom, or seat backs where there is a danger of falling overboard. So it's a general rule, and it's unlawful. It's not just, hey, you shouldn't do it, for safety. It's against the law to ride on the gunnels when your boat is on plane, or sitting on the transom when the boat is on plane. It's because there's a danger of falling over. So, because with my boat, right, I was on plane, and my brother-in-law was heading up the side of the boat and getting ready to sit on the bow on the sun pad, and I said, dude, you can't go up there.
I've tortured you to do that for years, and it's the wrong way to go. And you know what? Let's face reality here, right? You, for some reason, whoever's operating, whoever's at the helm, running the boat, goes ahead and catches a big wake of some kind from another boat, or you're literally going through heavy seas. You fly off that thing. That is called a prop strike. And I promise you, I've seen them, and nobody should witness that, and nobody should see that. It was
If you get hit with my 21-inch props, you're in big trouble.
You're in very big trouble. I'll tell you what, I seen a guy, during Canal Day slip off the back of his Go Fast boat with his surface drives, and it sliced him. Now, that's a little bit of a different story, because it wasn't technically a prop strike, because the boat was, under anchor. But he slipped off the back of that thing, and it sliced him from the base of his neck to the crack of his ass. And so listen, I've seen some horrible things out in the water. It's just all experience. But I'll tell you what, yeah, stay nestled in the cockpit, where it's legitimately safe. That's a good call, Buzzy. I like that. But you know what? Even with the center consoles, Buzz, I heard of a couple people that got tickets up and down the bay because they were on a center console, sitting on the forward, the seats on the forward deck, closest to the bow, and just their legs were hanging over the side,
Oh,
and they got a fine.
absolutely. Yeah.
Remember, we were
Yeah,
chatting
you
about
can't
that?
sit on the gunnel like that with a piece of. You can't even sit on the gunnel, period. But if you've got your legs hanging over the outside, that's a sure ticket for absolutely.
Yeah, that's asking for it. So just really think about, listen, you might be really comfortable and everything's perfect at that moment in time, but all it's going to take is for somebody to take on a wake that, at the wrong speed, going too fast, and you did not hit the right thing. I'll tell you what, I've seen grandmoms fly off the front of the open bows of day boats and haul over in Florida. And not for nothing, I have never, laughed so hard because it was incredible how far that woman flew.
and she was in a seat. So there you go.
Well, no, she was in a
Right.
legal seat and she wasn't doing anything wrong. But I mean, oh God, that was bad, So hey, you just got to be careful. You got to really be careful.
And you're the captain, so you've got to bark those orders and prevent people from doing that. That's your responsibility. The other thing I want to talk about is it's called an accident reporting form, and it's easy to get to if you just yeah. It's and you can use any search engine that you choose to just type in boating accident form, and a PDF, a link will come up for a PDF that you can download. But it's got, what it does is, look, a boating accident is a high stress, emotional thing, right? Property damage, let's hope not a physical damage to a person, but again, it's tense and it's easy to forget things. And so all this form does is give you a format to capture all of the information while it's fresh in your mind.
Well, it's fresh in your memory.
That's right.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, how many times are there, emergency situations or a catastrophic accident, and you really sit down and try to remember the course of events. And I'll tell you what, that's a really big time. Adrenaline's pumping. It's tough for you to stay accurate on what you exactly saw. That's a really good deal to make sure you have one of them on board, with your other paperwork, your registration, proof of insurance, if you have.
Yeah. And I, I'm Sam Safety, Captain Buzz, and I did print this off, and it is on my boat. What I've failed to do is tell the rest of the passengers where it is, but if something just should happen to me, but that could be a captain's briefing when I have folks on board. But yeah, it just
chop and get with the program, Cap.
I'm not perfect. Hey, I got a lot of things to learn, but it's a very simple thing. It's a bunch of pages, but because it gives you additional space to capture information about other boats, because could be a collision between two boats, all the people that were on board, what happened, size of the boat, direction, temperature, everything about, visibility, all of those things, for you to be able to capture that information for law enforcement, for insurance, for whatever. So good idea. Boating, it's a recreational boating accident self-report form.
All right, so we know we got ourselves a form on board to keep everything accurate. Love it. Anything that makes us safer and better, that's all that matters at the end of the day. Yeah, I'll tell you what. It's like this time of the year, Buzzy. It's getting tough, man. I start getting the pulling the boat out of the water, depression.
Yeah, I got that going on too. And this year I have to extend my slip because I'm just so busy. I can't get everything done. So, but that's okay. The boat in the water a little bit longer is fine. I can enjoy it. I've got some family coming, so I just won't get it over there as early as I normally do. But that's okay.
And enjoy yourself. Your boat is just fine. There's a lot of boats that people leave in the water all the time. There's a lot of liveaboards that are on there. You're good to go. I'll tell you what, at the sailboat show, it was amazing how many liveaboards on catamarans that are 40, 42 foot, in size, that were living aboard with 3 kids on board. The amount of liveaboards that we chatted with, those awesome families at the show, that was incredible. How many sailboaters and how many people are just literally selling their homes,
buying a beautiful sailboat or catamaran, and they're just going. They're out.
It's interesting. You're right. And it's not like they have a boatload of money and they decided to retire and do this. They're working from the boat.
Right. They're working from the boat. A lot of the caps on board, they're owner operator vessels, husband and wife team with either 1, 2, 3 kids. And I'll tell you what, it's a working boat. Everybody does their part to make that work, especially from a service side of things, maintenance on the boat. I'll tell you what, that's some cool stuff. So you can leave your boat in the water in the winter. Just make sure you understand what you're doing and how you do it.
Roger
when you
that.
do it.
So we got one more topic, and
what do you got there?
Well, it's carbon monoxide poisoning, and the monitors, right? A lot of boats, well, particularly with a closed cabin, it's required. And I think you just did some research on this as far as the expiration date. What did you find?
Well, I'll tell you what. So a lot of people think that they go out there and they buy themselves, a CO2 detector, carbon monoxide detectors, and they think they're good forever, and they're not. And here's a lot of things, guys. You check your carbon monoxide detectors on board. They're rated for 5 to 7 years, and they should be replaced after that time frame. Typically, the units have a tag or a date stamp that's on the back of the actual carbon monoxide detector of its age and when it expires. So don't think because you spent $125 on a CO2 detector and it's good for life. It absolutely is not. They got shelf lives just like everything. And I've gone through customers' boats and like, guys, they all have timestamps on them. It's time to upgrade them. If it's a 20-year-old boat, 5 to 7 years, replace them. Whether they're hardwired into the boat, whether they are portable that you bought to put in multiple staterooms, whatever you decide to do, check the dates on them. I'm telling you, they all have a tag or a date stamp, one or the other.
It's a good call, and you get the station wagon effect when the boat is running slow and you got a breeze that's pushing you, or you've got a generator running nearby, because sometimes people put, an external generator on a swim platform or even a bow, and those fumes tend to sink. And so, it's important to get those things checked, make sure they're in good working order.
Yeah, just like your fire extinguishers on board, they got an expiration date on them. Make sure you follow that, because if you get a safety check and it's out of code, it's out of date, it's out of time, you won't
and learn
pass.
to recognize the signs of carbon monoxide poisoning. Remember when we came back from we're coming back from Port Deposit on our way back to Chesapeake City. I had the 280, the gas engines, and the canvas was up except for the back, right? And so it was a recipe for that station wagon effect. And Jeffrey was laying on the.
Yeah, but you had your forward glass open. I did. Though. You had your forward glass
but
open.
But it's still curled.
Yeah, don't forget that point.
That's a good point. But it's still curled around and was whacking him for an hour. And all of a sudden, he wasn't feeling good. And we went, whoa, dude, you've got to get out of there. Or I've got to put the boat on plane and blow some air out of here, because we were just kind of putting along, but he started getting the symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's a little scary in that one. I mean, oh my God, he was nauseated. He had a headache. He just was not feeling good at all. So make sure you understand what carbon monoxide poisoning does. You know what? I'll tell you what, though, there, Cap, we got to make sure that we actually really share. Carbon monoxide poisoning, occurs when carbon monoxide builds up in your bloodstream. When too much carbon monoxide in the air, your body releases the oxygen in your red blood cells, and carbon monoxide is the end result. This can lead to serious tissue damage, even death. Colorless, odorless, tasteless gas, just by burning a combustion engine. And I'll tell you what, some of the symptoms: you feel weak, you have a very dull headache, upset stomach, nausea, vomiting, shortness of breath, confusion. That's a big thing. Blurred vision, loss of consciousness. Those are some of the symptoms. So make sure everybody realizes that and pays attention to if someone's not feeling right, it may not just because they had too many cocktails that day. Make sure you pay attention to the crew on board.
That's awesome right there. I'll tell you what. Yeah, I've seen that happen a couple of times. And I'll tell you what, that's why a lot of the generators, Buzz, a lot of the generators went EFI. They went fuel injected, which brought the cost of them through the roof. That's another topic to some extent, but I'll tell you what, that's why a lot of them went from carbureted to fuel injected to keep the go by more of a California emission standard on them versus your standard carburetors, because they definitely burn a lot more.
Yeah, that's true. That wouldn't impact the amount of carbon monoxide coming out of there. It would be less lead and less things that impact the ozone and the environment.
Absolutely, it's more EPA friendly, but they definitely were burning more cleaner, and the technology, and it's oh God, I'll tell you what, not a good deal.
Let's break away from our safety topics. We talked about the accident reporting form, where to ride on the boat, where not to ride on the boat, carbon monoxide poisoning. But let's get into a little happy place here as far as folks downloading the All Docked Up app on their Android or Apple device, and we're going to put the call out for folks to give us a review on the app, what they think of it, what they think of the podcasts, because what we've discovered is, because we're still looking for investors, that the amount of reviews we have on these platforms for the folks who have downloaded the app is a very important metric. So we're putting a call out for all to.
I want the feedback. I'll tell you what, I want the feedback, guys. The hard truth, the feedback. Give us an honest review. Tell us what we can do to make it better for you. My goal, feed me information. Tell me what you want, the boaters, what you want to see. What can we improve on? Listen to the podcast. We love any ideas, anything that we can do to make your boating experience better. We're here to serve you.
You can reach me at B Eule, EULE, my last name, at alldockedup.com. Send us an email. Let us know what you think. And as Pauly said, if you've got topics that you'd like us to discuss, or you're checking you do a little fact checking if you don't agree with something that we've presented, give us a shout, and we'll discuss it. We're happy to. We're all learning here.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. We have a lot of it. I don't care how long you've been in boating. Every single day is a learning experience, no matter how you slice and dice it. You just got to learn and update, and you got to do it. You got to pay attention. And I think that's why a lot of us really love to be in boating, Buzz, because it's a challenge on ourselves, and it makes us better, and you have to stay focused, and you always have to, it's continuing education. I was troubling spitting that one out there for a second, but continued education every single day.
Well, that's a really good point. And the boating community and the boating lifestyle, the learning really truly never stops, because right, I can remember, Pauly, when I first met you, and I didn't know how to, start the boat, and how far I've come. That doesn't mean anything, because there's so much farther to go.
Tell you what, man, never ends, my friend. Never ends. And I think that's what really gets me excited about it every single day. So I'll tell you what, it's awesome. That's why people love boating. I mean, I like to challenge myself every single day. If we're not getting better every single day, there's something that's a problem.
Roger that.
Well, I'll tell you what there, Captain Buzz, though, we're getting to that point, my friend. I might completely roll myself off this chair right now because the gnocchis are starting to really sit in deep. But hey, they're a little heavy, but I'll tell you what, they're beautiful. Paulo over here, standing by on 6'8".
Captain Buzz with All Docked Up, standing by on 6'8". Thank you, folks.
Yeah, have a great night, everybody.